In the El Chapo trial, today marks the end of 1 month of testimony from the prosecution's witnesses, and week 4 was full of surprising and gruesome stories. The most notable witness to take the stand was El Chapo's #1 cocaine supplier from Colombia, Juan Carlos Ramirez.
Ramirez underwent several plastic surgery procedures, including reshaping his eye and his jawline in order to hide from authorities and from El Chapo. He testified to the intricate drug route he and El Chapo made. The drugs started in Colombia, made their way to Mexico, and from there, El Chapo smuggled the cocaine into the U.S. and took 40% of whatever was sold.
So joining us now is criminal defense lawyer and former prosecutor Vinoo Varghese to talk a little bit about the highlights so far. So 1 month in, Vinoo, what are some of the things that sort of stand out to you so far about this case?
The amount of violence, the amount of gore. And, Judge Kogan is in a tough position here because the prosecution is basing its theory on the fact that this is part of life in the Sinaloa cartel and what El Chapo was all about. But then when the defense tries to go into it, Judge Kogan has tried to limit them. So yet he's allowed some questions, but he's doing it because he's like, look, I don't think you need to go into every single one of the 150 murders. At one point, the defense attorney took out a picture that he Googled 150 people, and he wanted to show that as a demonstrative aid to the jury of this is what it means to kill this man, Ramirez El Abadi, with the plastic surgery, 150 people. And Judge Kogan, prosecutors objected, but Judge Kogan allowed it when he said, as long as you tell them these were the people killed.
Well, I think at one point the judge said, listen, this is not a murder trial.
Right.
This is something much bigger than this.
Right.
Yeah.
And we started hearing from law enforcement, too, on Thursday. What are we expected that their testimony will do for the jury?
Well, I think it's just going to be continually piling it on, right? So the question is, we talked about this a little bit on Thursday, they have these witnesses. As I said on Thursday, they could probably end the case today, but apparently they have another 3 months left of bringing this on. So they're just going to keep piling it on, and then it's going to be a back and forth between them and the defense. One of the interesting things that has come out is sort of the battle not only inside the court, but outside the court, in the court of public opinion. One of the attorneys for El Chapo tweeted El Chapo's favorite song. And so this song was testified to when the first witness testified. He said that this was a song that was played outside his window, and it meant that you were going to get assassinated. So the prosecution has come back and said that this is a warning that the attorney has given to the jurors that something may happen to them.
Whoa.
And so it's getting really interesting. And so again, I'm not sure what the purpose of tweeting that song was.
Right.
One of the things that jurors need to understand, or people need to understand, is that a defense attorney actually has a constitutional obligation to defend his client not only in court, but in the court of public opinion.
Right.
But federal prosecutors hate this. They want to control the narrative. They want to say, El Chapo's a bad guy. And as soon as an attorney tries to brush back against that, they're trying to stop him. But Judge Kogan hasn't placed any restrictions on the defense yet.
So we've been talking a lot about the prosecution, that they're sort of forced to deal with some unsavory characters as part of what it is. We did hear from members of the Coast Guard last week. What's your take on the defense, their cross-examination, how they're conducting themselves, besides tweeting out songs?
Right. I think they're doing the best they can, considering what they have to deal with. As when I mentioned the first time I came on 2 weeks ago, all this testimony, particularly about El Chapo's lavish lifestyle, is the kind of stuff that sticks with jurors. What's happening now is that some of the jurors, and Judge Kogan mentioned this in court the other day, kind of admonished the jury because some of them were falling asleep with all these details amidst all of this. So all the sexy stuff seems to be done. And when you're dealing with all this gore, it seems the jurors are getting a little bit bored, and two of them fell asleep. And, at some point, he may have to actually give them something to wake some of these guys up because they're getting tired of the gore. And now three more months of gore is coming up.
That's what you expect over the next 3 months.
Well, I think it'll be a lot of financial records. Yeah. To the extent that there's going to be back and forth between experts on both sides. What does this show? What doesn't this show?
Cool. Looking forward to that testimony. Looking forward to having you break it down for us.
You always have good details
You always have very good details. That's why I love that. Thank you so much, Vinoo, as always.